Okay. So so let's talk about what is happening lately. So you've probably heard of all the buzzwords in OpenAI, Gen AI, and all of those things. But what we are looking to do is like we are trying to go to the next level, which is like uh, if you look at any of most employees who are going and working and you're doing stuff, you're always doing knowledge seeking, right? You're either searching something or you're trying to study something or you're trying to get yourself to know how to do these things and all those things. So we are seeking knowledge all the time. Now that has been obviously you have seen like there has been Google and then they're pretty much monopoly over there and you have Yahoo and you have other people like DuckDuckGo and things like that. But majority has been on the search side of the things. Like you have also seen enterprise searches where you can, like SharePoint or other Inktomi and few other search engines are available as well. But that's been the norms so far. But what's happening now is like with the generative AI, we are taking that concept to the next level. Instead of asking information and it is showing us what to do, and show us like a bunch of list of documents or informations that we have to go through. Generative AI is going to take you to the answer right away, so that we don't have to waste our time. So this is the gist that is happening in the market in general. This is why LLM is so powerful. We can do a lot of these things. So I'm going to show you what we are seeing in terms of like what are the top use cases that we are looking at. Like mostly I'll come to the Copilot concept based on what we're doing, but this is where the start is. So if you look at it, every business wants to increase their productivity. So how do we do productivities? Like they also have like a need for automation as well, right? And then the third one that they touch on is like the enterprise customer experience. Customer experience is very key, which is actually you probably all are looking at that at one point of time. And then creating content that could be blogs or that could be your Word document, that could be documentation or whatever, or website content, whatever that could be, right? So these are the ones that are driving primarily majority that we hear from our customers again and again. And with respect to this Gen AI, like Azure OpenAI and all, or even including the co-pilots, if you look at it, it's going to go on the increased productivity. This is where you're going to see looking at the articles and summarizing or understanding and finding how to do X, Y, and Z. These are all part of the puzzle, right? Like usually, like in my world, like there, I mean, I don't know how many of you are following the Gen AI world, like there are papers coming out every day. It's very hard for us to keep up what is really the current and what is the best one, because things that I've seen a week before now it is stale. It's something as new as popped in. So and these papers are large and big, and it's very time consuming to read. So you can do summarization and generations and ask like, hey, summarize it in 10 bullet points and tell me what this paper is, things like that. So it's making my life easier. I'm hoping that it'll also make your life easier. Take a look at that. That's how this is one of the major pillar. The other one is in the automate process. Automation, we don't generally use like too much Gen AI here, in the sense is like you're not automating fully, it's quasi automating, like put a human in the loop. Like you can actually provide the users like process some of the documents and give them the information so that they can validate and check some in the workflow management, fraud detection when it is coming into like documentations and contracts and things like that. Supply chain also, like we do like contracts validations and insights from contracts for supply chain, and um, those are the areas that we are looking at Gen AI to be. And then this call center, customer service is one important area. Like you can do it in multiple different ways. There are so many people who collect call logs, and you guys do call analytics too, but not to an extent. Like you'll be surprised that I've seen this again and again with customers. They take the call log, they run this through Gen AI models, and they really start seeing so much. they can extract like sentiments, they can extract tasks, they can extract the root cause, what the product the customer is talking about, why they are frustrated, what is making it frustration for customers and things like that. Like you can go deep now and analyze your call logs and really find out where to improve. And then I've also seen people are taking the call logs and the emails that are associated with like support information and things like that, summarize that. So the next time the call comes in, it's easy. Instead of uh, reading like 20 pages of information, you have a summarization of what the last call was, so you can actually continue with your work. And then there's offline analysis that can also be done through Gen AI tools and things like that. The last one is the content generation. By definition, the model is very good at doing this. So content generation, in the sense, look at it like it's not just generating the content and throwing it out like that. It's actually creating a content and helping the human. So if I wanted to create an email, I'm going to ask the model to create the email, but I'm not going to use the same thing just like that. Rather, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to read it through, change it. If I want to re-ask it and make it better, I can do it. So I can do the iteration process. So this is why we coined the name Copilot, because it's actually not replacing. It's rather helping me to do my job better every single day. So that's the gist of it, and this is where we are seeing a lot of customers who are going after and in the Gen AI. Now you can ask like, okay, this is all in Gen AI. What Microsoft is doing is, I'm going to talk to you guys about some of the Copilot aspects. But before that, like if you look at any company and if you ask, there are like 92% of the technology profs that we talk or the business decision want to use some sort of AI tool to make their life easier. That is like if you talk to a programmer, they want the Copilot because as a programmer, I use the Copilot when I forget syntax and I ask it to write it. It writes the code for me. It doesn't fully finish it. I still have to debug and test it and validate it, but still it writes the code for me, right? So things like that. Like how can we bring that to front end for front end employees, like the business employees? How can they benefit out of it? How can we make their life much easier? Obviously, we do a lot in responsible AI, so that your data is your data. Within your data, we also kind of like bucket you to what you can see in SharePoint and all based on our graph. So you can see like our security is baked into it. At the same time, we are building tools that are going to be increase productivity more and more for the coming workforce. Now, with the co-pilots, I'm not saying where we have co-pilots yet, because you're going to see it a little bit later, and it's gonna you will see it might be in shock, but I'll talk about that and we'll see it. But what we are seeing a lot is like in a day-to-day life, people summarizing long PDF documents to get the information out of it, what they want, and then move on. The second one more is on the email use cases. Like, I'm a sales guy, I wanted to write emails, or if I'm a customer support, I want to respond to the customer with a very personalized tone. You can ask the AI to write it, right? And then it also like does create images to get some ideas and play around with it. DALI is the one that actually does that. And of course, new skills, like while you're doing it, you can also learn new skills. And that's instead of searching internet, you can ask the model now, because the model now becomes, instead of search engine, this model is your a day-to-day co-buddy or the AI assistant that you can go to and talk to it, right? And find information. And then, of course, it has got good complex answering skills depending on the model. Now, we do have a few things like, DALI and GPT-4 are the most famous ones. We use DALI 3 and GPT-4 in most of our co-pilots. Now, that's where Copilot concept comes in, because Copilot becomes your day-to-day the chat bot or the day-to-day knowledge bot that allows us to go and do our job better. So that's That's the biggest thing. I mean, you can also use this to apply to your own data set. As far as you're providing, being transparent and provide citations on where you're pulling the data from, and that makes the AI more trustworthy. And you will be surprised, like it'll actually show you the links, and you can chunk it and show which section actually the model was looking and it's responding. Now, keep in mind, this is a language model. Its sole knowledge is not to cut and paste. So it's not supposed to give you the same answer every time you ask questions. If you start doing that, then you become pretty much a search engine. Whereas this is supposed to provide you with brand new answers every time you ask for it. And then, of course, we bake all our if you look at our portfolio, we have Azure AD got changed into Entra ID, and we have everywhere. Most of our tools are integrated with security as well. Now, here is the slide. So this is what Microsoft is doing. This is right now and going to the future. So I know this is a huge wheel. We say Microsoft Copilot. I'll show you we'll talk about the new branding change for what the Copilot, Microsoft Copilot is. But then we have Copilots across, we're bringing Copilots in operating systems. We are bringing Copilots in developers called GitHub Copilot, which will be baked in the Visual Studio editors, and VS Code and things like that. We are bringing in Copilot for business applications, which will be part of your LinkedIn, Dynamics 365, Power Platform. Power Platform is our low-code development tool. You can actually type in natural language questions and it'll create flow and the forms and things like that. So does Dynamics will also have like for customer support and also for regular BPM-based processes, business processing. LinkedIn will come into the recruitment and also the learning. Then you have this Microsoft 365. This is the modern work. So as you probably know, I'm not sure if everybody are using. We have been in this space for a longest time, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and you probably heard a bunch of those things, including Teams. Everything will have a co-pilot that's going to help you. Say, for example, in Teams, you can record the meeting. Please do so, because then you will have the co-pilot to recap the meeting and ask for follow-ups, what you need to do, what are the tasks you need to do. It will create the task and give it to us. It's pretty amazing. For me, it is a very crucial thing. I use it a lot. We also have it in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint now. PowerPoint, you can go and ask, say, like, I wanted to set up like 5 slides talking about different co-pilots in Microsoft. And you ask that question, it'll create like 5 slides for you. It'll be basic formatting, but you can also say like a format with XYZ theme and stuff like that, and it'll do it for you. And then comes your data and AI, which is in the Azure space. This is where you will get more into, you want to build your own custom co-pilots. Like as an organization, maybe Microsoft products will help your employee productivity and things like that, but you want to provide your own co-pilots or assistants to your own customers and your partners and things like that. This is where you get to build your own custom co-pilot connecting to different data sources. Doesn't matter Azure, non-Azure, anything you want, we can do. And you can have your own chatbots in a website or a WhatsApp or a Teams. You can integrate it in Teams, build a Teams bot and access. You can do a lot of those things. Now, then comes this browser and search. So you would have probably heard Bing search, Bing chat, which we introduced. That is got name changed, and that is what is called Copilot now. So when you hear the name Microsoft Copilot, please don't get confused. It's nothing but our Bing's version of enterprise and public chat. So when you log into Copilot, you will see an option for work and web. You can toggle. Web means it's the public version. Work means it's your private version connected to your SharePoint and things like that. By any means, the data is not leaking because we are very much put security in here. When you go to public, you won't see your company data because it's totally different. Now, the this is the new search engine, that the search engine style that is coming out. Instead of having a list of information coming, you can talk to it and converse, and it'll actually provide you the information. I was able to. Okay, I'll show you the. I mean, we'll talk about Copilot later. So this is the first now available for a couple of months. So go please take a look at it and check. And we also have it in various way. You have the website. You also have if you have an Edge browser in the top right hand corner, we have a Copilot tab. You click that, it'll show on the right hand side. I like this thing because the right hand side I can ask questions and it'll actually show me on the left side of the page. It's super awesome. Then comes the Edge app. We do have a mobile app that we released. Take a look at it and see. I have it in my phone. I can go actually now start talking to it. You're gonna see Copilot in Windows as well. Windows 11 and above will automatically have. In future, we might also build AI-based operating system soon. And then you have this is the Copilot. So Bing and Bing.com chat and Copilot.com are pretty much going to be very, very same. That's what you're going to see. So it's going to merge together. So that is called Microsoft Copilot. Now, is that it? No, you saw the big whale, right? So the wheel gets going bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're going to see so many different Copilots. We are going to introduce Copilots in Azure. We are going to introduce Copilots in M365, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, SharePoint, Knowledge, everywhere. And then you will going to have like designer is a concept we also have for creating brochures and things like that for marketing. And then Windows, of course, Windows is the in the operating system itself. And then you're going to have Dynamics Copilot. Fabric is our data analytics product that will have its own Copilot. Security, of course, we have a awesome security tool. Within that tool, to make the security people much easier to get access to the threat analytics and things like that, we built a security Copilot for them as well. And that's this one. And then you have the GitHub Copilot. This is again, this is the most for developers like me who can actually write code, and we can go it much faster. Then we have Power Platform Copilot. So this is also called Copilot Studio, the last one. And you can also, so you can use Copilot Studio to build your own chatbot also. That doesn't mean you can only have to use it. You can also use other web tools to build. So if you look at our stack, you will have a Copilot Studio that you can build your own, or you can use the M365 Copilot if you have already M365, and then extend from there. Then we'll have Sales Copilot, Service and Copilot, custom Copilot platforms. And we'll also have enterprise ready Copilots that you can build. And of course, it all comes with the Azure Scale and with the Azure AI's infrastructure behind the scenes. And this is just in a high level of like how the Copilot Studio architecture works. I'll send you all the deck, and here is a simple reference architecture if you want to use and talk to your own data. Here is how it works. So you use a queries, the content goes to the retrieval engine, and then it takes it. This is what we call RAG, retrieval augment generation. And then we send it to the language model to get the search result, summarize, send it to language model to summarize it with a prompt, and then get the response back. Now, this is very interesting when you do your own Copilot. This is kind of this reference pattern that you're going to do again and again and again, because this is how it'll ground with your own information. And you can also avoid hallucination, which means you can also build like things like enterprise chat. We also have a neural voice now, and you can create your own AI voice enabled content. Like I can take Ron's voice and then create a content and make computer talk talk in that voice as well. So these are the copilots that we have. They are pretty easy to build. For example, I was playing around with this today. Let me see if I can pull this out. No, this one. So far, are you still seeing the screens?
Yes.
Ron? Okay.
Yes, we are
Okay.
still seeing it now. It says set up generative AI.
Perfect. So this is our Copilot studio, not the Copilot. Here is the Copilot. If you want to really look at it, this is the, as the image said, this is nothing but the Bing chat. You can ask, I can say like, can you create me a vacation plan for 3 days in Bahamas? Add time to relax and enjoy as well. So these are this is what the Copilot will be able to do. If you see the top of the Copilot, there will be an where is it? Okay, I didn't sign in. So once I sign in, it'll show me the official side of the spectrum, which is like you can also search from the SharePoint and stuff like that. I won't be able to show you that because of internal documents. But this is the regular Copilot. Now, what I did is, just for curious, I took Angelbeat website and I created a Copilot on top of it. I call this Ron's Copilot, basically Ron's website assistant. So what did the I'm using the Copilot Studio, so it's super easy that you can say you can point to an web address and say like, hey, go create a Copilot and see it went and actually created the Copilot, and I can start asking questions in from the in the website what is available content, and it will start giving me responses, and this is how you will see the products are going to get baked. Now, just for curiosity, this is the presentation you saw, so I can show you what Copilot can do. You can actually this is M365 Copilot, which is part of M365. I can say like summarize the deck in 5 bullet points, and you can see like it'll go look at the PowerPoint and it'll try to get the summarization done for me. So it's you can also ask it to create like various levels of like new slides if you want. You can ask for content and then cut and paste it. So you can see like we are incorporating copilots for the greater good, and this is how Microsoft is moving towards. And that being said, did I make it on time, Ron?